Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't test. Oh, the thing. Yeah, the square is green. That's good. Direct download. Automatic download not available. Amazing. So I need to update this thing. What I wanted is to test. Okay, chat works. That's good. Right. Yeah, OBS looks fine. So you don't really need to see this. The only important part is the code. Good enough. Right. Chat, which doesn't show that I'm live. Let's refresh. Okay, it shows I'm live now. This is good. Yeah, I should probably have named my stream something different. Let's quickly change it. Yeah, my YouTube as well. Completely forgot about YouTube. Let's see. Can I change the name of the stream on YouTube? That's a good question. Studio. Latest live stream. Okay, I don't really care about the latest. I wanna go live. I'm already live. Okay, I am live. Great indie game. Yeah, that's not right. Title and description. Hmm. Data gatherer. Albion. See. I didn't actually think of a name. Kinda wanna name this whole project. So I would have a name to refer it to. Coding stream. Number 1. Data gatherer for Albion. Right. Okay. I guess I can take the same name and use it on Twitch. Which is not really cooperating. Guess you can't really see anything here. Please edit the title. Stream info. Stream. I think I don't think it's necessary. Is chatting. What's the group for coding? I think it's software and game development, yeah. Software development. Good enough. Right. I guess the setup is done. Is why I can't hear music. Oh, I guess since I switched the audio source. Yeah, I can't hear music myself now. Switch. Still there is no desktop audio. Not really sure why is that. Because there's, well, I hear music. Guess I can just add a new source and see if that works. Audio capture. That's loud. Okay, that's a bit quiet. I feel like this looks like a good good audio level. Right. Well, I guess I can sort it out on the next stream. I think switching audio devices messed my OBS a little bit. Well, no big deal anyways. Right. So today I will be working on this piece of code, Albion Data Gatherer. So basically this is an application, well, this application is very simple. Its whole purpose is to connect to the Albion's API and get all the kills and push them into my local database. So that's pretty much it. And the change I really, well, I guess we can do a lot of changes. But the main thing I wanted to do is to delete old records when inserting into the database, like, yeah, this is where this is where the actual insert is happening. And I want at the same time to have, well, the same code to delete, well, let's say the records that are older than last million. Well, I want to keep like the history of last million kills, and the rest I want to delete. Something like that. Sure, how should I do this? Password. I want to connect to the database. Let's see. Okay, this looks good so far. Right. Doesn't really matter if you, well, don't want to show IDs. I guess I can just show general information. That should be fine. So yeah, issue is like, so yeah, I deleted all the records that are, well, mainly I'm going by ID. Let's see, select account, which letters, which languages, account. That's how it's written, number from pence. So what is 500,000 records? That's not too much. I thought there would be more. Well, I guess I removed them recently. Hey, hey, Night Center. Came to support my development endeavors. Well, I appreciate that. If that's the case. Yeah. Come to LAN? You wanna LAN? Well... well, I guess... well, it depends on what do you want to LAN. Well... I mostly will be working on my own bots, so, you know, if you have any questions, just shoot them. I'll explain the best I can. Team... Okay, I'm gonna select the end of the list. Limit, I think. Keyboard limit 100, so well, I guess 10 records is enough. Oh. Here. Yeah, 10 records, but it selects from the front, I want from the back. Order by. It should go ascending. The error? Oh, I think limit goes at the very end. Sorry, second. I haven't read the chat yet. Yeah, it selects now from the front. Or from the front, one from the back. Yeah, there are very few kills now in the database, that's a bit odd. How do you access in the data of Albion Online, and how do you know from each table what it holds? Well, since I designed the tables myself, that's how I know where everything is, because that's what I made. And about the data, it's very simple. There's an endpoint, this game info Albion Online API game info events. So this is basically the endpoint which where you can request data about kills from Albion Online. So I just go there. I can actually give me a second. Let me open a window. Demonstrate. Take this URL, paste it into the browser. I should be using Chrome for this. So yeah, if I open this endpoint, well, it takes a while. It's not as responsive as I would like, and yeah, after eventually it will return data. Yeah, so this is data about the kills. Not very convenient, but well, this is what I use. I'm not really sure why it's not showing it in a more friendlier format. Because it's JSON, it should be able to parse it and throw it. like an explorer of sorts. But I guess I can. Well, I'm pretty sure. What's its name? Firefox does it by default. Second, I'll try that. Yeah, Firefox looks already makes it look like this. So it doesn't open just raw data. It shows the it gives you an explorer. So instead of looking through raw text as it was returned like on Chrome, on Firefox you can actually go and explore what kind of data is. Well, it's more structured. Like it's the same data, but in Firefox it's structured in more viewable way, more understandable way. So basically you get a bunch of kills, like you get latest kills. I'm not sure why it returned 19, an odd number, well 20, but it used to return 50. I'm missing kills now. Don't remember how the code is written. I think it's all based in increments of 50 kills. Check. Yeah, I haven't worked on this code for so long, I barely remember what it does, how it works. So I guess we all be learning same time. See, the actual, like this is the main loop of the application. So up to here it's only definitions and, well, some preparation. And this is the actual program that's constantly running on a loop. See, so it checks the configuration, if anything has changed. Events, so this is where it tries to get the events. The string time. Oh, it adds timestamp. It's a weird workaround for for caching, because they implemented that at some point, which eventually broke. So yeah, it's not really important. Offset is the important part. How do I calculate offset? Limit come from definition. Is it a global variable? It is 50, so it is based on I wonder if I'm missing kills, if I'm skipping kills. I think the first time I check if API returns new kills, I don't specifically say how many kills I want, because limit is a parameter you can use when calling the API. Well, it's passed through the URL, so basically it would be part of the URL. Instead of having like this, at the end you will have question mark limit say this, and then you enter how many kills you want. So if I limit 5, I will get, instead of, well, I guess you won't actually be able to see that on this browser. On Mozilla actually displays in a reasonable way. Oh yeah, enter a number, so it's reasonable number 5. So it should return 5 kills. Yeah, so there's 5 kills. How do you get the inventory of somebody? As I can see from the data, there are no items shown there. There are items shown there. Yeah, that's that's not actually true. There are items there. You just need to know where to look. For example, if we take, well, like one of the kills, collapse all. Yeah, this should make it easier. So killer usually, well, killer's inventory is not sent. So if you look at the killer's equipment, well, we will have equipment, but the inventory will be empty because he doesn't declare. But victim will have inventory, and you see all the slots. And like in these slots, he didn't have anything, so those were empty slots. Like first slot he had nothing, in second slot he had tier 4 potion or cooldowns. I don't even know what kind of potion it is. It could be. What is a cooldowns potion? Is that a thing now in Albion? I haven't played Albion in so long. So tier 1 skill book. non-tradable. So yeah, so I have no idea what they're actually referencing. You can actually check. So the kill has event ID. So if you grab that, kills, kill board, battles, kills, and at the very end we replace the code with the ID from the API. This should find that specific kill. Yeah, you were right. Accept, I guess. Right. So yeah, this is the kill, and so it's yeah. So the poison potion for some reason is called cooldown. Potion cooldown. This is a poison potion. I'm not being mad. Not going crazy. This is resistance. This is poison. For poison. So he had tier 1 books, like pretty much what it says here. So these items. So this is how you know the what was in the inventory. So and this there's quite a lot of data, like for one kill. Well, this didn't really have participants. Only one person got the whole fame. Yeah. So it wasn't a group kill. Yeah, location is all never set, so this is... And there's a lot of information you can't actually rely on. Like location, because it's never given. But yeah, that's pretty much how you get the kills. And yeah, this is what this application does. It just calls that API and just pushes everything into the database, which my local database, which is here. Oh, I'm connected to it at least. And these are the kills in the database. I parse out the essential data, and then I just have everything that was sent pretty much in the format. Let's see if I can copy this field, I paste it here. Oh, doesn't look right. I have an application that can actually show JSON in a nice way. I think I can just make a JSON file, temporary one. File .json. I think it has a JSON viewer. If I paste the data, I don't remember how to format it. It likes it. Something is missing. Let's see, window, edit, toggle. I don't remember where. There definitely is a option to auto format everything nicely, to align everything. Any recommendation from where to learn what you do? Well, you can learn from me. It probably will be the closest to what you mean, like, because each developer is kinda specialized. Like development is very broad field, so you know, if you want to learn specifically what I'm doing, then this is the way to do it. If you want to learn development, well, it depends of what kind of development you want to learn and so on. Because by trade, I'm a Java developer, so if you want to become Java developer, you just look up. Well, in general, how you learn development is by reading documentation. That's the main source. So, for example, if you want to become a Python developer, well, also it depends where are you starting from. Like how much knowledge you have about development. Like maybe you have no idea what it is and how it's done, or what it actually is. So in that case, not pretty sure. Like there are some good websites for teaching basics about development. I don't remember. There was a good one. Like maybe there's a one guy who comes to my streams and from India. He showed me a very cool website that he's using to study, like to learn development basics, and it gives you a bunch of like simple tasks, simple like questions or puzzles. I think that's how they call it themselves, to solve using certain aspects of development. But Slither.io. Right. But well, I would give W3 schools. I think that's what it's called. W3 school. I don't even remember. Oh, not this. Probably this one. Okay, can't really bother to read all of that. Tutorial site, like you can learn a bunch of, like this is a very basic website. So, chat. Yeah, I have heard about this that site also. edX. Oh, that's another website. I don't think I know that one. Let's try googling it. edX online learning. And this looks like a paid service or something. Yeah, so there are a bunch of resources online if you're starting. If you want to learn Python in general, like Python development, what I'm kind of doing here, you can go to the official Python page. I don't remember. I have a link saved, bookmark, a Python documentation. So yeah, so this would be the resource I would suggest if you want to learn Python development. Like you not just the basics, like everything about Python. Starting like with basics, and you go as deep as you need, basically. And these are the resources you would usually use when you're learning. But development is not just knowing the language and using it. It's a whole bunch of things. Like you need to know about like things like databases, networking, a bunch of tools you would need, like this, for example, Eclipse. I use Eclipse myself as integrated development environment, and like learning, even mastering Eclipse is a huge task. Oh, well, that's why that's why I haven't done it myself. Hello. Hey, noteworthy. Yeah, haven't heard from you in a while. Haven't spoken with you in a while. What else? So yeah, development is not something you like. You start gathering bits and pieces, and like that's how you accumulate the base knowledge you need to start developing something. Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, how are you doing? How's studying? Like it's I actually have another viewer who's a student studying. I don't remember. Well, something to do with development as well. He wants to be a software developer. Hopefully he'll come online later on at some point. Everything went well until I missed the final. What do you mean missed? Slept over or what? How do you miss a final? Pardon my ignorance. Above others, yeah, so I can see chat all the time. But right, I can't actually test this. there's only 500,000 records. I guess I can delete older than 500,000. Or 8. It is working, it is adding more records. I don't remember how many there were when I started. Okay. So now what I need to write a query. Let's see, I word it. Said we had all day to do it, so I was working on a different class, and later on he changed his mind, but it was in another class taking the final. What? Well, that's the what's his name? A lecturer? Sounds like it's his fault, not yours. So, you know, shouldn't be too bad. He suddenly changed his mind about deadlines, especially if you make it shorter. Right. Need a delete statement. Yeah, it's generally not a good practice to test code. Like, okay, so first of all, I shouldn't write delete code. Like, this is like this is the part where I say do as I say, not as I do, because you shouldn't be testing new code or prototyping on a live database like the production database. But that's what I'm gonna be doing, because it usually is quite risky. You don't want to risk messing something up with the real database, which is actually being used by the users. But in this case, I don't really have another option. I don't have a test database set up. Well, actually I do, but it's currently offline, so I'm not gonna bother bringing that thing online, because it's in the old server that's currently shut down, and I'm not sure if it would even start now. So yeah, what I need to do is, so since I need the delete statement is pretty much the same as a select statement, but instead of select you have delete. So let's see, thought I heard a message. Okay, let's try to select. That selects. How should I select the... Can I actually select records that are older than 5, let's say, ignoring first 500,000? Is there an offset? Let's see, from Albion Online events, order by sending. Yeah, this is pretty much the same query. Now I need off. Emit. Or I guess time to Google. I have no idea. It's Maria, but MySQL. SQL. Get records. Give first 10 results. You like looking up in Stack Overflow? Look for a better website. devmysql.com. That sounds like a reputable source. I'm using Linux. Yes, I am. How do you transfer data from SQL table to Python? Find all. Let's see if that lets me the website. It does. So yeah, let's see. So how it's done is well, that's one of the things you need to know is well you need to learn if you want to run a database. You first of all you need an application that actually processes requests, much like this game API Albion Online API. The same way when you host a database, it is accessible over the network for making calls, requesting data. So that's how it's done. So there is a piece of code. Let's see, well, get new events, for example. So I get the result from get events. So let's see how get events actually does that. It takes a URL, which get events was here game info URL. Oh, so this is just the request from the API. So this is the part that gets this text. Oh, I'm not really interested in that. Let's go back. So when it does that, oh yeah, actually, I don't think I retrieve any data. Why? Let's see. Yeah, only insert, but it's the same principle. I execute a query. Well, basically, so when I select all of the, well, I get all the new kills from the API. This is this is pretty much all this whole thing does. I think it is while has new events. Yeah, so I check if the events I just retrieved, I just got from the Albion API. I have a method that checks if there are any new events. Like if, well, I judge that by checking my current list of current events. Well, see what it does actually. When I get the events, I check event ID, not in past events. So I have a list of past events that are already in the database, or that are already retrieved. Where do I actually store this? So this is a deck. Oh yeah, so this is where I actually, okay, there's append left. So when I insert into the database, then I add it to the past events deck. How long does that deck is? Actually, don't give it any length parameters. This doesn't really matter. So yeah, so I as long as I'm getting new kills from the API, because eventually I might get some old kills that I've got previous times, so I don't want to be requesting any more kills. So to stop that, this part does that. So all of the events that I retrieved, oh yeah, all events. So this is what this array is for storing all of the events. So I know all the events that are stored in this variable are all new events from this iteration. Oh, in this loop. While has new events. No. Oh yeah, while has new events. Done like this. Play update events, result JSON. I'm not 100% sure why it's done this way. All I can tell, it works, so see. Oh, this gets just the initial first batch. Alright. So this is just first 20 events. Right. Remember that now. So it's 0. I think I should do it like this. I should delete this. I don't really have a way to test the code, since I don't have a test database. I don't think, well, I didn't really think this through the way I should. Is this your old code? Yeah, very, very old. I don't even remember when I when I wrote this. It was at the, like, couple of years ago. I just remember bits and pieces. And I actually want have a change that I want to make to this code. Also, I might as well rewrite it because this is terrible. To be honest, this is not done by any, like, no best practices were followed or good design patterns or anything. This is just a code that works, which is a good baseline to pass. But yeah, if I'm gonna be streaming, I might as well write something properly. So I might as well redo the whole thing. Maybe not today. I'll need to think about it. Are you? Are you new to development back then? Not really. That's the thing. It's not that I was new to development. I was new to Python, so there's a bit of that. And Python is quite different from Java, which I was developing in before that. But you know, to be honest, I never bothered too much about best practices and so on. Like, my focus was always to make something work. So that's like the style of development I'm used to at the moment. Maybe I should change that, because getting back to this and seeing, like, let's see, one method is 145, 293, so 50 lines of code, pretty much, give a less line. So 50 lines of code for one method, like, that's, you can reasonably read through it, but it is a little bit too cumbersome to understand quickly what's going on here. Like, this part should be extracted into a separate method. Probably some of these parts should be extracted into a different method. This definitely should be a separate method. So this whole function would be simplified by, instead of this, you have a call to another function. In this while statement, you call another function, and this would be another function. So it would look a lot simpler, and it would be easier to follow if I've done it like that. Well, and that's why you should write code like that, just because of maintainability. It is easier to read, easier for other people to understand it, and by the same line of thinking, it is easier to maintain, to fix bugs. Oh crap, I forgot what's my password was for my Linux machine. Well, that's, I can't really help you with that. Try the passwords you remember, and hopefully you get lucky. That usually works for me. Eventually, it might take a couple of days, but all right. Where was going with this? So how do you actually get it from the database into the code? It's you use well, there are things called database drivers. So basically, each database implementation has like a library that should be used to interact with that database. So for see all of this, I am using PyMySQL. So PyMySQL is the library used to connect to MySQL like databases. Basically, databases based on MySQL. MySQL is like one implementation of relational databases, and I'm using MariaDB, which is a fork of MySQL. So it's pretty much the same thing, but it's a little bit different. So you use these, well, you use those libraries, and for example, like, this is how you connect to the database. Like, you have, well, this is part of the library. Like, this is not the code I wrote myself. This is provided by the library. It has a bunch of functions. I'm not gonna go through that. Basically, this is how you get the connection. So, and the connection has to be returned true. So, oh no, connected. This is how I flag that I have connected successfully. Yeah, and I keep retrying if I don't get a good connection. If I get an error while trying to connect, I just print out that there was an error, and then I retry after db retry interval. So this is like a fail safe if there's like a your internet connection goes down for a little bit and you can't connect to the database, that it wouldn't just crash the whole application. It would just register that there was an error, and after it should be like 30 seconds. I don't remember where it's declared. It's probably in the settings, or no, it's here. So 60 seconds. So it will wait 60 seconds and then retry it. I think it's seconds. I don't actually remember. Let's see. Should have that sort of information in the description. Let's see, connect. Doesn't really list the yeah, these are the methods declared. Yeah, I don't see the parameters explained, but I imagine, like, usually there's a documentation page online for these sort of things. So oh yeah, I don't really use that. I use it myself. Never mind. So yeah, when you get the connection, usually there is a method you can call. So I return the connection when I ask to connect to the database. So to get all the events, so this is the limit max events. Oh, actually have a list. So I have last 1,000 events. So I select basically what this means. Where's the database here? This. So I can take this piece of code. Well, this is piece of string. Copy it here, where it actually interacts with the database. Finish this so it won't complain. So select this field from this table. Probably replace this just to make sure it's gonna be fine. So from events table, order by ID. It doesn't matter, you can stay like this. Send and limit. Have 1,000. Well, let's make it 10, so will be easier to see. So this is what that code actually selects from the database. So this is what kind. Well, it would get 1,000 lines, not just 10. But that's the sort of data you would get from the database. Well, it gets from the database when it executes this SQL statement. It takes the cursor. Well, cursor comes from the connection. So yeah, using this cursor, and this is like, that's the alias I assign it. Well, this is what this syntax means. Take this, call this function. The result of this function will be assigned to this, and I'm using this with block just because it will automatically get closed. Like it has like connections with the database are a little bit specific. You need to know that you need to initiate connections, you need to commit the transactions in certain cases. Like each database has its nuances, and yeah. So, but you learn all of that when you're actually learning how to use specific databases. So it's a little bit different for each database. But in this case, this is how I do it, or I did it at some point. So this, when you call execute, this is where you pass the actual query. Like those let's see where it is. So this would be one query. This is another query. So this is what the database actually executes and tries to extract data based on the query. So this is the query be aligned. So yeah, cursor executes the query, and the result, yeah, you can retrieve the result calling this function in this specific way. When you're using this specific library, PyMySQL, from connecting to the Maria database. Probably it's the same for all MySQL based databases, but this is how it's done in this case. And all the events, so yeah, and it assigns it to results. Then for each result I add it to the past events. Not really sure why I do it in this way, like iterating through each element in a 1000 array, in an array with 1000 elements. Yeah, I think I can just, oh, it has a specific field, so so I need to do this, because it doesn't just return the raw data. It doesn't return just ID. Well, basically it returns only the ID, but it's already wrapped in some other stuff that I don't really care about. That's why I iterate through all the results, and I only save the event ID that I care about. So yeah, that's how I get the list of old events. So init old events is called before the main function, so it's only done once. When the application starts, it just loads old kills from the database, so it's aware of like when was the last time, like so if you shut down the database, and well, not the database, the application, this application that gets the kills, and you start it back immediately after that, it wouldn't just duplicate the kills, because it would try to get the latest kills again, and might be that you already have those in the database from the previous one. Well, it's basically, I think it's clear enough what this is and how it's done. I'm not sure. If you want to ask more, like, go ahead. I can explain, no problem. But what I actually want to do for myself, I want to select records, skipping like first X amount of records. So this is output. We're having window order by ascending, limit of, no wait, skip. Does this skip locked? This is one keyword. Don't really see anything for offset. There is offset, limit, offset. Okay, what does this mean? This part is, you pick one of these options, limit, offset. So it's either offset or row count. No, offset and row count. I guess it doesn't, I don't really understand what this means. Well, this means or, so it's either what's on this side or on this side. What I'm trying to do, I wanna delete, well, the actual goal, what I want to change in this application in particular, well, I want to change, but the key thing I'm working on is when it inserts the records into the database, I don't want to keep all the records, let's say, then like I want to keep only the last 1 million records. So everything that's older should be deleted. So when it is, because now it just inserts new data, it just keeps inserting, it makes sure it doesn't duplicate the data, but it just keeps inserting infinitely. And my database eventually runs out of space. So to avoid that, I want to, from time to time, I want to delete. Well, I might even delete it each time. So I insert one line, I delete one line, insert one line, delete one line. So I would keep the total amount of records in the database like at, say, 1 million. So that's the goal. So I'm looking for a query that would help me do that. And looks like, yeah, there is offset. Not sure if it's explained. It should be explained here. Offset. Could go to the name Stack Overflow and copy paste a solution from some Indian guy. But I really don't like doing that. I would rather go to the documentation and read how the developers actually intended those functions to work. Compatibility with PostgreSQL also supports the limit set limit row count offset syntax. Let's see. Say before that, limit 510 retrieves 16th 15th row, so it skips 5. Oh, so you just give 2 more parameters to limit. What if I don't know the limit? Is there a limit in my query? Oh, actually there is no query. I can write it the way I want, okay. I don't think I want to use a limit. Can I use this without the limit? It looks like I can't. Can I actually use this in delete statement? Because this is a select. Well, I just assume select works pretty much the same way as delete statement, but look at the delete statement in particular. You can use limit, but it doesn't actually have the other part, what's offset. Quick ignore partition where. Where condition is the expression that evaluates the true blah blah blah. It is specified as described in select statement. If you make a delete thing and have it limit what it deletes, well, it should. Well, I assume from this that it will delete the first X amount of records that like, because you when you write the delete statement, you define where in the delete statement, and by whatever conditions are met by records from the whatever the table you're deleting them from. If you limit by a certain number, if you want to delete, let's just say 5 records at a time, that's what you would use limit for. So you add, well, if you have a specific limitation, how many records you want to delete at once. So that's where you would use limit. And the definition, let's see, limit or limit. If ordered by clause, limit. The limit clause places a limit on the number of rows that can be deleted. Yeah, so these clauses apply to single table deletes, but no multiple table deletes. Okay. To ensure that given delete statement does not take too much time, MySQL, so it's about the time. Oh, I guess it's another probably more useful use case. So it has a limit clause, specifies the maximum number of rows to be deleted. If the number of rows deleted is larger than the limit, repeat delete statements until the number of affected rows is less than the limit value. Gives you a hint. It tells you how to actually write the code. Okay, so limit 1. So for this should only delete 1 record at a time. Delete statement, blah blah blah. Clause rows are deleted in order specified by the clause. Also, I have it ordered by the certain column. Well, it doesn't specify if it's ascending or descending. It doesn't really matter. Well, for the illustration, this is useful. Limit, for example, blah blah blah, deletes the first, well, oldest record. Well, I guess oldest, it depends on how you order the actual results. So in this case, it probably will be oldest because it sorts from the oldest to the newest. So it would be ascending sequence. There's still a little bit more limit. Oh, so for multiple tables it doesn't work. Okay, so that's what limit does for delete statement. It's, you know, it's useful in certain situations. But I want something different. I wanted to leave certain amount of records. To work around that, I guess I could just have multiple queries. I have a query that counts the total amount of records. So well, since I can't just flat out say delete delete all the records, skipping X amount of records, because like this is not a function. Like if it's not here in the official documentation, you can go look on Stack Overflow. Someone will find a workaround that might work, but it's not supported like the way I want to use it. Like I can do it in select statements, which has pretty much the same limit, but it can have an offset. But in delete statement, limit doesn't work like that. At least it doesn't look like it works like that. Maybe they implemented it, and it just didn't update the documentation. But I'll just go by what's written in the official documentation, which is that you can't really do that. But looking at how limit works, I can actually use that in a roundabout way. So how to do that? I will do this like exact query to get the total amount of records. Then I'll get let's say I want to keep 5,000 records. So basically I will subtract this 500,000 from this number, and whatever is left over has to be deleted. So I will make a delete statement that goes in the ascending order. Yeah, so it orders by ID. But it crashed. So I'll have something like this, and I'll just add a limit. Well, basically I'll limit the delete statement by the leftovers, if that makes sense. So now I need to make this into actual code. And when do I want to do this? So the inserts are done here. I guess before I close, I can... So instead of when I need to add logic into a function, I shouldn't be just writing new lines like it's done here. I should just implement another method. Well, like this. Like this would be an example how you would actually add functionality to a code, to an old code. So I would create a new function which would describe what the function is supposed to do. So a descriptive name is kind of a key, well, for readability especially. So what I want is delete old records function, and to do that I need the connection itself, because that's actually need a cursor for this. I guess I can kinda need the cursor. So when this for loop ends, it will have the connections. Okay, so do I need the cursor itself though? Have the statement. I don't remember. You know what? I'll just use the connection. I think that's gonna be enough. So this is. I'll just pass on the connection. I'll just use. Well, I guess I'll just use the same syntax and sign if needed. What else does it need? Does it need anything else? I think that's all. So now, wait, defined? So now, well, my IDE lets me just assign field assigned to local. I don't want to assign it to anything. Why doesn't it give me an option to create a method? Well, it doesn't really matter. So what I should be doing is writing a definition of the function. Let's see, on. Let's have some logging. Is just for debugging purposes. And it also gives something for the function to do, so it doesn't complain that the function is not doing anything. So yeah, now this will call this method and pass on the connection. So, but it's just basic things like that. So now, first of all, we need a SQL statement, some variables, called SQL1, and it will be this function. This is gonna be, actually it will not, probably won't work. Yeah, it has all the table names, things like that in different format. We'll do the same. We'll just, this one, different type of quote from blocks. So this will count how many lines of records there are in events table. That's how I will get the total amount. And then to do the delete, let's see. So this will be ascending. No, descending. Descending is what I want. No, backwards. So ascending, limit, and skip 5. So now I should see, instead of this ID starting from 0, it should skip 5 and start with 5, I assume. So if I execute now, oh, it skips 10, so the first one is, and selects 5 records. So it skips, let's say, skip 5 and select 10. So it starts with 5. Wait, that's not right. I want it to be descending. So the latest records will be skipped, and the older ones will be the ones that are left over. So if I skip 500,000, correct. Okay, let's get the count. Suddenly doesn't work. Error count events. Guess it doesn't like this random number. Yeah, now it works. So okay, the number is increasing. So let's say skip 505,840 and select 10. So it should select 6 records. Oh, it's running now. Damn, that's a long running query. To select. Kinda sucks if it runs for so long. Skip 500,000 records. It's still running. Can you actually see that? Yeah, running. The query is to skip 505,000 records. I guess you can see here that it's running. Hasn't completed. Yeah, this is taking way too long. It's actually doing the select. Yeah. Well, I guess 500,000 records is quite a bit of data, considering each line has all the crap. It's this. Yeah. So, like each record, like this is only 5 records. Ooh, the query ended. Finally. And it returned. Yeah, the last 5. The oldest 6. Or whatever. 6 records. Yeah, 500,000. It is a large number. And how long it took? 86 seconds. That's not good. Because I wanna execute this query every minute. Maybe this is not a good way to implement this then. Need to think about it. What would be a better way to do this then? If I can't do it the proper way. Well, I can, but it's not practical in this case. I guess I can just go by ID. Because the IDs are sequential and, well, sometimes there's like it skips IDs, so I didn't really want to implement it like that right off the bat. Let's say if it skips the, say, a round number, maybe it will be faster. It is by ID. ID is what you call it, indexed column, so it shouldn't take it all that long. Oh, it's not done by ID, it just skips 500,000 records, I guess. If I use limit, if I add where ID more than X amount or less than X amount, X number. I don't think those are strings. Let's see. Yeah, ID is an integer. Oh yeah, comparing integers, finding an integer that's sequential and unique and indexed by. Yeah, those queries should be fast. This one, I have no idea why is this one so slow. Let's try writing another one. From Albion can stay their ID is less than 500,000, say 20. Order by has to go after there. Okay. Order by. Order by sending. So yeah, this query took 96 seconds, so yeah, it doesn't really. Oh yeah, it returned whole 1000. But yeah, 90 seconds, that's not workable for me at least. This should take no time. It found nothing. Pretty sure there were records with ending. Oh, it's 45 million. think it's 45 million. Yeah, 45 million and 500,000. Okay, let's add that. 54 million. So yeah, this query works really fast. So it selects all the 20 records because it filters by ID, which is indexed. Well, indexing is a way of like it's a well, you can ask if you want. I'm not sure if you care what indexing actually is. So yeah, this took me like 0.03 seconds to execute. Get to like the last 20. Let's see how long it takes to get the last 1000 records. Limit 1000 and this 4000. Oh yeah, 1000 records. It took like 0.05 seconds to execute. If you want to explain, I'm always open to hear things, new things. Well, all you need is to ask. If you want, because I can keep explaining throughout the whole stream. Like there's so many things I can explain, but indexing is the way databases. Indexes are meant to improve, like the goal is to improve the performance of the database. Because when you have a larger amount of records in the database, database is not just for storing data, it's for retrieving data as well. So to find the records like in reasonable amount of time, like 0.005 seconds is quite an acceptable time to select 1000 records in a specific, like by a specific ID within like 500,000 records. So not this like this. This is this doesn't look like it uses any sort of indexing. Like it seems like it's going through the whole 500,000, and when it's done past when it's eventually done skipping 500,000 records one by one, then it starts executing the actual select statement, which is extremely dumb, but it is what it is, I guess. So how indexing actually works is it kind of it's in the name, I guess. It indexes the data. Usually you put an index. Can I actually see indexes here? Oh, the session. Let's actually see. Oh, you can see the 127. So the IP is not really. It's not a real IP, so that's my local IP address. Let's see. So basically, you create an index based on a field on which you, by which you will be filtering the data. So if you have, you will be searching people by records by a given field. Let's say by an alliance or by guild or by name. Like you will create indexes for these fields. And what the index will actually do, it will sort it, like it will keep a sorted list. So it requires additional horsepower on the server side because it actually keeps a list that is sorted. When the list is sorted, you can actually get to the specific value really fast because you know that it is sorted, and you know that this value goes after this. Well, basically, it is sorted in a specific way where you can quickly access it. So that's why searching by an ID field. ID is by default when you create a database. Each table should have an ID field by default, and all ID fields by default are always indexed. So that's why when you're doing a query by ID, it's always really fast. And if I try to do a query for like using alliances or like no other fields are actually indexed. I don't think I indexed anything special. So if I do a query, select from online, events. I guess you don't even know what Albion Online is, right? And what was it? Or are you aware of it? Let's see, Albion Online, where killer name. Okay, killer name is. Oh, make it even even harder. Let's make it like, and let's see, killer guild, victim. Wait, killer name. Oh, so this is. So this query should take a while because it's doing a search. Oh, it's already done. What? It's fetching data. I'm not sure. What does that fetching mean? It's still executing the query. I'm not sure, maybe it's the evaluation of the... I don't know. But yeah, this will take a while. Ooh, it didn't take that long, 30 seconds. So it selected all the kills by that guy, by that name. But it would have been a lot faster if it was an indexed field. I'm pretty sure it's not indexed. Take a look. Indexes. Actually open the indexes from here. I need to do something like this. Schema indexes. So event. Oh, so I have an index for event ID. So I can't have duplicates. So even, oh, so I've done this not for the performance. I've done this to add a constraint. So indexes when you create an index, you can have additional constraints on top of the index. So one of the constraints is unique. So that means that I can't insert two records with the same value on this field. So event ID has to be unique for each record. Much like, well, ID is also because it's a primary key and primary index. Well, these two have been created automatically. This is the one I added, event ID unique. So to make sure that this is like, so what it gives me, well, I guess it's kind of obvious, but when if my code that is here, delete, not old records. Basically, there is a piece of code somewhere. I don't remember. Old records, all events, past events. Yeah. So this. So if event not in past. So if this piece of code that checks each of the kills I'm going to insert, it checks if the event ID is in the list of the known events that I already have in the database. So if this, for some reason, well, this is a list of 1000 kills. So sometimes, like, it could be, well, since I have like 500,000, like currently I have 500,000, and 500,000 is not a lot. Like, usually I just keep it under 1 million. Like, that's my goal, is to keep it under 1 million, because then the database is of a reasonable size. Well, when it gets to like 4 million, 5 million records, the database bloats to like 60 gigabytes, which is not really what I want. So yeah, so if this will fail, and if this piece of code would fail, it will try to insert duplicate kills that are already in the database. So to work around that, I added that index. Yeah, it is a large database. Yeah, there's a lot of kills. Like, there's a lot of users as well, which is kind of annoying. That I have so many users. I pinged everyone that I will be streaming the development of the application that they are using, and no one really. No, it's up to them if they care or not. But it is interesting, like to watch, at least for people who are interested in development side, because it is an actual application that has actual users who are actually getting value from it. And yeah, well, it's only a part of the whole thing, but you know, you need to look at the individual parts to actually, like, that's what programming is about. Yeah, normal people don't care about how it's made, just that it works. Yeah, that is kind of true. Like, no. Most of the people do, and most of the developers only care about. I would argue, from at least from my humble experience, that would be. I would call it quite a common thing. Developers as well. I usually only me as well. I usually only care that it works. I don't really want to know much beyond that. So I can't really blame them for uh, not being more active or proactive. But yeah, so back to the index. So since I have it, well, oh yeah, you can primary, okay, spatial. I have no idea what these are. Oh, it's a type index type. Okay, so well, we call them constraints. I guess unique is the constraint. So basically, since that field has an index with value unique, and that ID is generated automatically. So when I insert records, it doesn't care. It will assign a new ID each time it is automatically incremented, and so on. So, but when I insert, this comes from the actual records event ID, and it has to be unique. And if I try to, like, this code fails, that checks if the record is in past events, and it actually tries to execute query that will insert a record with event ID that already exists. Since there is a constraint, a unique constraint, it will trigger it. It will return me an error, basically, so that the record is a duplicate. It violates a constraint, and yeah, it will fail to insert it into the database. So that's why I have well, that's pretty much what I know about indexes, what I can recall from memory. Like, last like it's something I studied in university at some point, and it's not really all that important, I would say. There's a bunch of theory to go with it if you want to know what's the difference between different types of indexes, but this is the ones I use. Right. Yeah, it should have an auto increment somewhere. Foreign keys. Member. Oh yeah, I guess you can assign it here. Or maybe it's I actually use this interface, because AI means that it is auto incremented. So each time a new record is inserted, it will automatically increment it by 1. Oh, damn, I'm dumb. That's what I should be using, because this doesn't actually come from the data. So even if I get bad data with skipped event IDs, I just go by ID, because it's generated locally by the database. So it will never have gaps. Well, it shouldn't have gaps, unless, well, something really bad happens. Yeah, I should just use ID, like this. Yeah, it should be fine. It will be fine, sure. I just need to calculate what kind of ID. So how to get the IDs? Well, IDs are sequential, incremented by 1, so it's not hard. Oh, so this is okay, where it doesn't have. Yeah, this is not really what I want. Do this. This is a fast query, comparatively. Yeah, these are sequential. So to get the effect I want, let's see. Have a count. Okay, count doesn't really matter at this point. What I want is the latest record. So I want not event ID, I want ID field of the latest record, and to select the latest record I go to, well, I select for ID from events and limit 1, order by descending. This backwards again. Limit goes at the very end of the query. I have an error. Select. What's the error? Select is definitely select. Let's do this as. Want to save this. Just a habit of pressing E. Oh, it's supposed to be. If I do this, it will work. Something before this is messing with the square. I have an error in my SQL syntax. Okay, what kind of error does it say? Select is not a valid. It's not valid at this position. Position does it think it is? Final. Save. Select from events. Oh. Dumb. Okay. So this should be my latest record. I can do the ID. Yeah, so it only selects the ID of the latest record that's in the database. So now I just add, subtract actually. However much I want to keep. I can actually, then I can do select. From events. Where is, I guess, yeah, less would be for the older records, so less than all of this query minus 500,000. I think this should work. Wait, return 500,000 records. Only, well, it started from the oldest ones. Let's do an order by ID sending. So it will get the well, the intention is to get the first records that will be deleted, because now it gives previously it selected like the last records that will be deleted, which I already knew about. Taking so long though. Like when I come close to a solution, then the queries become very slow. And somehow this doesn't look promising. Why though? Being so difficult. So yeah, and this is what development is actually like. You're sitting and wondering why and how. So that's the long and short of actual development. Because people sometimes, well, even I at some point when I was studying development, I thought that development is just power typing. You sit down and just type code non-stop. And that's in reality, yeah, it looks much more like this, where you sit and think. And it took 89 seconds. That's nonsense. Why? Selected by, well, I guess I do a select inside of a select, but why that would be? I think I could do it faster manually, inserting the number myself. So 550 actual number. Let it do the math itself. Yeah, now it took only 0.0. Well, it did it in a second. So for some reason, having a select inside of another select, it just messes with the database for somehow. Yeah, maybe the database implementation is not that great, or maybe it's just the SQL workbench that I'm using is not that great of a tool. But either way, there's no reason, like, I don't plan on cramming everything into one query. I'll just have separate queries anyways. Yeah, since this is live data, I'm not really keen on testing the actual delete statements, just yet at least. How the code is actually implemented. Check for old records. Exception, retry, old events. Was that it? Oh yeah, I guess it was. Oh, so it has all the names of the fields and tables in the odd quotes. I guess I'll just use the same syntax, it should work. First try. Hopefully. So yeah, here, when I get the connection, just do the same thing that I do here. Connect to the database. I guess I can just do the same. Well, I have the connection, so maybe I close the connection, reconnect again for the delete statement. Be a better choice. Yeah, let's do that. Just don't pass the connection. Let's do it myself, like I did in this. This now has no parameters. And this is done. Everything done in global scope. This is so terrible. This design is terrible. But let's not talk about that. See, I would do nothing for now. Wouldn't complain about syntax not being correct. It's pretty much the same as here, but copy pasting is the favorite part of coding, is to copy paste. See how similar will this code be actually? Maybe I could abstract it into another method, make it a little bit more concise. I guess it is a little bit different because it has values in the middle of the query need to be inserted also. Oh, this is the error. Okay. That's like prints out logs like that. Like this is this. You can definitely see that I didn't know Python at all at that point. You can argue that I don't know Python still, but this is just terrible. So okay, an old event. So yeah, it has a string that it's attached. And oh, and this one doesn't have any. I'll have another query that I need to execute as well, so it will be two queries. Scroll 2. Work out. I can delete this. Yeah, why didn't this work? Number. T. Quick fix. Format. Does nothing. Well, I guess it happens when it doesn't. Well, when it's not a valid syntax. So this is probably not a valid JSON or something. Try inserting. I know this is not important, but just for myself, my own sanity, I wanna know watch view page source, raw data. If I have to wait, I'll just find another window. And I close the other window. Have to wait. Here it is. There's raw data. Okay. So I just copy raw data here to this file. Fully. Damn, this is taking a while. See, memory 20 gigs used. My swap is full as well. It's amazing. Feels like this is operating in swap. Like it's completely unresponsive. Hey, pasted the JSON. Okay, let's do the formatting. For Albion Online? What is for Albion Online? Toggle format. Yeah, so now it works. So I guess that JSON was just not a valid JSON somehow. The data gatherer, yeah, it's part of my fleet of applications, fleet of bots. Also, what language is it? It's written in Python, so this is Python. This is the main method of the data gatherer. And this is just JSON of the data I actually store. So this is... how many records was this? Remember. Was this only 5 records? I think so. This is how much data you actually need to store, like 6,000 more or less pieces of data for 5 records, I think. So yeah, that's why it takes well, the database bloats up. Interesting, by the way, reminder that for us it's almost 8 p.m. So what of it? Go walk the dog and then do something. Okay. Well, I have a clock. Don't have to remind me what time it is, but I appreciate that, I guess. So it's don't you have anything planned for a specific hour? Let's see. Yeah, so this is how it's supposed to look, and that's why it takes. So this is one when it's the one record starts, and where does it end? It's another one. No, goes even further. I'm reminding you so you don't lose track of time. Well, okay, thank you. Am I known for losing track of time? I don't think I showed that. It's not really a trait of mine. Not when working, at least. This is kind of feels like work to me. It feels like I'm a first day at work. Except I know the kind of what I'm working on because my own crap. I can't find the end of this record. Well, okay, it doesn't really matter. But it is a lot of data. Pretty sure. Check. So if I view it as normal JSON, lapse all, yeah, it's only 5 records. So it has 6,000 pieces of data for 5 records. So for 5 kills. So and each line of this is 1 kill, and this data field has all the data. So it has like 2,000 pieces of data. Well, more than 1,000, 1,500 pieces of data each line of the database. So yeah, when I have 500,000 kills in the database, yeah, that's a lot of crap. Yesterday I intentionally turned in my paper 10 seconds before it was due, and the due date was minutes before midnight. Okay, well, that's, well, it's how you do it. I guess it's up to you. Right. Well, the good thing is you didn't miss the deadline. That's the key. Let's align it. Why can't I align it nicely? Should be good. But yeah, so I can save this as an example of a JSON thing. I'm just trying to see if there will be any reaction from the teachers. Okay, pushing buttons, trying to annoy people. Because that's what you kind of do when you're young, when you're in school, when you're a teenager. Let's see. So this is one where I get the total amount of records. The next one should be the delete statement. My SQL. So yeah, it should be select. So this is the latest one. No, I don't need the count, that's wrong. I need the latest record. So it should be like that. The query I actually want. That ID from same style. Orders, order by ID. Sending limit 1. So I get one ID. No, it's more like if, hey, what will the teacher reaction to the turning in the paper at the point time? Well, you can call it however you want. When you try to get a reaction out of people, that's process of learning, I guess. Interactions. It's yeah, it will be interesting to see what she actually does, she or he. Let's see, so give me the ID to actually delete. Select order by ID. The statement I don't really need it ordered. Like I don't care in which order the delete actually happens. But yeah, it fetched 1000 records. Well, I guess by default it's ordered ascendingly, so it starts from the lowest ID. Right. Yeah, so this is fine. I will be using this query. Kinda don't like. Do the same here. I have the keywords capitals from. There's a shortcut. Maybe there isn't actually to make it all uppercase. Don't remember. Place. File. Factoring. Might be it. Extract. Okay. A shortcut for doing this. I'm sure there is, but I can't bother. Where it will be a little bit clearer. It's kind of obvious as it is there. Typing it out is not a good idea, because if I make a typo, well, this is how mistakes are made in code. This is how typos are generated. Ending limit. Yes, I can test it. Should work as it is if I copy paste it here. Okay, that query works. This one should work as well. Mistake. Fetching, yeah, it worked. Give me the results and so on. All good. Call1 is call2. So now this is one value. Remember how it's actually denoted. It's percentage S and minus 500,000. This should be a variable as well. Right. Well, I guess since I know what kind of values will be inserted, I can just do it in a proper way, which seems like I've been doing a lot. This using a plus sign to construct a string. Right, but they have the basics. Well, I guess I can just have 500,000. Yeah, I guess I can keep like last 500,000 records. Kinda wanna check what the size of the database is at the moment. Let's see. To connect to my server. The database, so I can show this. Maybe I should check the IPs first. Yes, you can see the local IP stream. It's really a big deal. I guess I can don't show the actual URL. And So yeah, the database is currently 20 gigabytes. So if I keep it at 500,000 records, the database shouldn't grow much beyond this, because that's where the most of the data comes from. I thought about 1 million at some point. I thought 1 million was a good number, but I think it because it takes around a month to accumulate 1 million kills. At least it used to be like that. So I have enough historical records to do something with them as well, if I keep like 1 month's records. But I don't really have any plans on that. Well, it was just an option to have at the very end. Let's see, connection. So the actual code, I guess I can just do the same as here. Try catch with the connection. So I try execute SQL 1. So the result, so there should be only one. I think there's a fetch 1 method that will return 1 record. I don't remember how it actually works. It returns an array with 1 element in it, or it will be just 1 element by itself. Is there a way for me to test this? It would be good to try it out. Yes, some configuration was in the file. I can actually open this. Open with system editor, yeah, so it doesn't open on the same window. So I can see the actual configuration. What should I change? Oh, I guess it's Lazy ended up quitting his Minecraft server, didn't he? I don't actually know, I didn't come back to it. I started working on another project. Well, I'm not sure if you know, well, I haven't played on that server for 2 months myself, even more than 2 months at this point. Build battle, yeah, I was participating in the build competition. So I haven't played for a long time there, and I haven't been, well, I haven't even tried to connect to that server since. I'm not sure if I will be, well, maybe at some point. But nowadays I don't really have much time for gaming, so I just, in general, don't play Minecraft these days. I played plenty of Minecraft while doing the build. I would play if I if I were to game on stream, but for now I'm gonna try coding on stream, see what how that looks. Yeah, it gets boring. Well, yeah, you have no idea. Like I was building Mordor from Lord of the Rings, like the whole area of Mordor, including the tower of Sauron's tower with an eye at the top, the volcano, the mountains surrounding it, the gates into it, and the passage behind, like the secret entrance with the spider's cave, and the castle outpost in the mountains, like all of that. I built on the SMP server for that build competition. So yeah, it was a lot of Minecrafting over the past 2 months. And I'm still waiting on the results. I have no idea who won. Hopefully I get at least honorable mention. That would be nice. Yeah, getting back to this. Oh yeah, I wanna check if I can... Yeah, I can actually safely run this code. Doesn't really do anything, like the delete is not implemented, can't mess it up, and if it connects to the real database, it doesn't really matter, because like the live application that is currently running, oh, it doesn't matter because it doesn't let applications duplicate records. It should be fine. So let's have fetch one. Anything. So this statement is good as it is. So yeah, I want to know what is assigned to this results field. So let's make a breakpoint here. Why overthink it if you can actually do the debug? I think this is fine. Configuration. Okay. Configuration debug, Renus, Python. Right. I don't remember if I actually need to set anything up. Bug? Why? Will this change anything? Cannot connect. Connect to the server. Error. Connection on my local host. See, what's wrong with my local host? Oh, it's set up to run on the server, so it has the ports wrong. Okay. Change the port. The tunnel I have set up. Oh, I need to think about this one. So my local port that I run this on is... Oh, it's one off. Okay, so change this. Okay, now it should connect to the data. Getting events. We'll go this far last time as well. Okay, so it's getting events now. Well, since it's getting so many. Is it because it just started? I don't remember how it's implemented. It's kinda annoying if it's gonna go fetch whole 1,000 events. I need to be in debug. And this is working. So whenever it will hit this piece of code, it will stop executing. Here, and then I can actually investigate the whole context of the application. And actually skip all of this. Oh, the connection timed out. I didn't even... Okay, let's skip some parts. Are not that important. In this case. Let's see. Why not just call this function old, name it, old records. Okay. Let's call this function at the very beginning. Again. Oh yeah, now it actually hits. Result is not defined. Oh yeah, it hasn't. It's okay, result. So result is actually a dictionary. Okay. Well, that's all I needed to know what kind of format the data is in. So when I know that, I actually don't need all of this. I can have, let's say, last ID. This is the last ID. It's like a last ID. Okay. So this will look like last ID equal result, and name of the field is ID. So this actual value, actually an integer, yeah, it is an integer value. Might be a float, whatever. It's a number. That number will be assigned to this, and then I insert it here to the square. Don't remember how I actually do the formatting. Even use it anywhere in this code. Seem to love using plus to construct strings. Not really the way you should be doing it. You can do it, it will work. That's why I've done it this way. But the proper way is a little bit different. Let's go learn how to properly construct strings in Python. Python, yeah, the documentation is already open. I guess I can just do a search on what's its name? Formatting, yeah. Format. So formatter, function, built-in function. Yeah, format is a built-in function. So it takes string, format specific mini language. Yeah, so this is what I'm looking for. So yeah, all of these are special symbols I can use to construct a string Python. So for example, let's see, I don't really care about all of this stuff. I just need to insert a value, character, binary format, decimal, number in base 10. I can use this. So well, it can just do the conversion into like different base systems, like 16 base, 8 base. But what else? I don't remember if I actually percentage is the multiplies the number by 100. Space in a fixed format followed by a percentage sign. So this is how you actually do the string. So it okay. So for me, in this case, instead of this, I need to have something like that. 1D. It's actually correct. Not real. Because the number indicates which parameter you want to insert into that spot. So if you have like if you have a string and you want to input the same value multiple times, so yeah, that's why you would use numbers. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess D, according to the everything documentation. So the string I actually want. I need to use something else. Oh, semicolon. Yeah, there's a lot of crap. So 2x octets. Fine. At D, so daytime. This is all well and good. Just want a simple example. 0 false string on the argument first. First, thou should count. So this is just example strings. Wait. Oh, so it can call the property of that. That's quite cool. So you have an object with a bunch of properties, and you can just use them constructing the string. Like, very flexible way. Yeah, I've been through this document so many times, and I still find something. I'm looking digit. Have a keyword associated or decimal. Albion integer types. So these are all numbers. Oh, so if I don't specify it is D decimal, don't you even need. From this is the default type for strings and may be omitted. Yeah, this is a lot of info. I'm not all of that. I'll just hope for the best. So I don't even need D, so I just have empty. I just add 0 because it will be the first argument. So to actually finish constructing this, I will have format and just pass last ID. Yeah, last ID, which I get from the query before. So now this string hold this thing, but instead of this value, you have the last ID selected from the database, and the rest is the same. Shouldn't be select, should delete. That's what I will be deleting. Does it need delete? It doesn't. Don't select columns. But the rest, this should work. I'm 90% sure that. Yeah, 50% of the time this will be correct. Will work correct. Something like that. C4 R. This part is good. So when I have a second statement pretty ready, I just do the same, except of squirrel 1 I use a squirrel 2, and I think that's it. This will delete all the older records. Don't really want to call it here though. Well, for testing purposes I want, but before I actually deploy this code I need to remember to remove this. Have this so I don't forget to remove this for deployment. Such a simple minuscule feature to add, and like I've spent what? Where's my OBS? 2 hours already on this, and it's still not implemented. Well, it's mostly implemented, but it's still not done. But it's not really an interesting problem to solve as well. That's why I haven't done it for so long. What I did when the database started to take up too much space, I just go manually into the SQL workbench, connect to the database, and just delete all the records, and just keep the last like 100,000 or something like that. That's why it has only 500,000 records at the moment, because I did that a couple of days ago. So I would like to stop doing that, and this will solve this issue. And then it will be absolutely zero maintenance. But at the same time, I see a potential issue with this. This I don't think is correct now, because it doesn't have the limit specified. Actually, I could add limit here, so it would always have that. And limit, I think, is just 50. Yeah, flat 50. I think this will work fine. So I can test this. Construct the actual string real quick. So this is what I copy pasted. Paste. It works. After that, it adds this bit. And limit is 50. So instead of this, actually I want to add timestamp as well. It will show me any value. Just add random numbers. That's its function. Pretty much. Doesn't have to be the actual time. But yeah, this query should work. Let's do a test. Not found. Zing. Not found. They mess up. Oh, it does have too many question marks, I think. Yeah, it should have and instead of question marks. 404, yeah, didn't find the resource, but I think the query, like the actual URL, is not formatted correctly. So limit is, I did add it twice as well. Should be limit 50, timestamp this, and instead of question mark it has and, because question mark indicates that this is the end of the URL, and after that it's all parameters for the actual server servicing the query. So this one should work. That's why you need to test. Like, oh. That is what development is. So yeah, it returned 50 records, and that used to be the default behavior, and doesn't seem like it is anymore. So I want to add this to the beginning. And then I'll add this. I can't really be, well, I could actually rewrite this to use the proper formatting syntax, instead of using this janky plus crap that everyone says you shouldn't do, because it doesn't really sanitize the inputs in any way. So if you have an input from a user, this is very dangerous to write construct strings like that, because then it might have special characters that are meant to escape your code and start executing something else. So that's why you should never construct strings like this using pluses, like I am here. You should be using functions like, where was it? Like format. Like this is the way to construct a string from different variables. So this is how you should do. This is how you shouldn't do it. But since I am the one, like I know what values will be here, like no user has a way to manipulate these values. So that's why I do it like this. And where I have user input, I should be using format, and I think I am. I didn't double check, but I have very limited interaction with my users, so I don't really use their input all that much. Because it's, well, it is a bot, it's all automated. Doesn't really require users' interaction. So this, instead of this, I need and, because that's a delimiter to show that this is another parameter. It should be fine. This is for defeating the caching, which might be broken. Well, it was broken at some point, so that's why this appeared here. So I don't need this anymore. So this should address that issue. Well, the potential issue of me missing kills, which is probably not even an issue. It might be, though. Because what ends up happening, since I get only 20 kills, and then I iterate over kills in increments of 50. So kills between 20 and 50, like, so I'm missing 30 kills in that gap. I imagine eventually I get to them, but yeah, there is a chance that I will miss them, and those kills won't be reported. So yeah, this should address that. Because I have no idea why they changed it, because it always used to return first 50 records by default without specifying the limit. Now it started returning 20. Guess it is what it is. Let's see. So that part is done. Does need anything else? I need to close the connection. I do here also. I need to commit the connection, because if I delete and not actually commit, then yeah, well, guess I can do it after. Well, yeah, probably when the cursor is no longer, well, it's disposed of. Delete old records. How often should I call this function? Imagine at the very end. Because, oh no, I want to check the main loop while true. Try get new events. Last update, wait a certain amount of seconds. I guess it doesn't, well, it shouldn't take all that long to execute. I could call it from here, from the main loop. I guess it makes the most sense to call it when I actually am done inserting new records, because then you will have some old records that might be removed. It probably makes the most sense to call it here still. And actually, I kind of want to test it once. Have an output of some sort to let me know that the records have been deleted. So I think I want to find the documentation for this library that I'm using. to check what kind of output I should be expecting. 5 SQL delete. Well, it's I must go read the docs. That seems looks like something I remember, so assume this is the official documentation. Samples, yeah, reference, object, stream, fetch all, fetch one. Oh, I will be using execute this and returns number of affected rows, so I will get number of rows that have been deleted. Could I use that data for something? I guess I should just log that I deleted so and so. Well, the number of records that have been deleted is so and so. That's the best I can do that data. So cursor, when it executes second, this will be. Could it be that this doesn't return any records? This query. I think the database, well, unless it's just been created, even then, it's just done inserting records. So just going by business logic. Business logic is just a term used to describe the actual logic of the application. So going by business logic, it should always have at least one record if it reaches this piece of code. So it could be unnecessary to check, because let's see, how should I do this? Oh, so fetch, so execute returns the number, so I can assign rows. So this will be the number if, well, since I'm executing query that selects only one record, so the result should always be 1 or more than 0. Well, all I care about that it's more than 0. Well, actually I kinda care that it's only one record as well, because it's more, if it's more than 1, then, well, it won't work like that. Fetch 1 fixes that. So yeah, I just care that it's above 0. So if rows say equals 0, that's when I have to do something. It's log. I log error or an info. I think info is, because it's not really an error. Definitely needs to be logged. What kind of message should I use? Database as failed to select latest kill from the I guess it kinda is an error. I guess I'll just log it as an error. How could it fail though? Yeah, it doesn't have any IDs, it just purely selects the latest record. It should never fail. So if it gets to this state, it is an error. And it prints that out and just returns, so it doesn't continue doing any of this, because it won't work. It will just crash. Because this will not assign, it will crash the application when I try to use the data that doesn't exist. Well, much. Oh. Oh, let's see. Here I need to check if I actually... Oh no, I don't really need to check. It is a delete statement, so I just have these rows again. Oh, this is the wrong thing. Actually, I can do it like this. I don't remember if the formatter actually changes the returns a formatting version of S, so it doesn't actually modify the string you're calling it on. So S format use substitution, blah blah blah. Yeah. So this is how I have to use this. Make it work. Execute rows, and I just print out log. Is it an info level? Do I want to know it each time it does? Kinda will do. Oh. Old number, old record deleted. Those. Can't even number. Yeah, so I guess if there's nothing to delete, it just returns 0. I will see in the logs if it's 0 or not. Nothing else I'm missing. This is all. I guess I can run it in debug and start over and see what happens. Let's make sure everything is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, this is good. Get the connection. It's row, so it selected one row. 0, it's not 0. Fetches 1, it selects the ID. It's selected. So this is the query that will actually delete records. Their ID is lower. Okay, let's see what. Okay, it returned, it affected. So it deleted almost 13,000 records. Then I should get an output. Yeah, delete records, some of the delete records. Okay. Action closed, so on. Looks like it works fine. Just to make sure I didn't delete too many records. Where's the query to count? Account of select count. From Albion Online. Doesn't like something. Or what? Items. Error. You have an error in your scroll stick. Select count from what? I don't see the error. I don't have it saved anywhere. Oh wait, I should have it in my history. That was the first command I did. Oh, I limit. Okay, let's copy action. Just remove the part. How is this different? And this will work? Yeah, this the mystery. Oh, okay, it's no longer a mystery. Typos. So there's 499,000 records left. supposed to be 500,000, but this is close enough, so maybe it's fine. Oh, I know what's going on. IDs are sequential and they shouldn't be skipped, but I think if it tries to insert a duplicate record, then it gets an error and the trigger to increment the ID, the iterator on the ID that's being generated, gets triggered before it checks for unique constraints. So I guess some of the records I was trying to insert into the database were duplicates. So yeah, out of 500,000 records, 700 of them almost were duplicates. That's like fraction of a percent. That's not too bad. Like it's 0.2, less than 0.2% records per duplicates, which is, yeah, I guess fine. So yeah, that's why it's gonna be lower than 500,000 usually, unless everything works fine. Especially now when I'm running like some other application that's connected to the same database, which is supposed to be doing the same thing. Probably that's what's probably messing with IDs a little bit. Not really an issue though. Alright. So this part works fine. Kinda tested it. And it didn't crash. It left records in the database. And that's all good. Let's see. Oh. Clips. So yeah, this is all good. Yeah. Can delete that. Bold at the end of the inserts, which is fine. Deleted this. Should be fine. Well, I guess all that's left is to deploy and see what happens. Yeah, I changed the name of the configuration file. Now the configuration file is actually called oh, I have it somewhere. Git config. This method. Yeah, don't open on stream. That's the file. That's different on the production as well. So I need to remember to copy over not just this main script, but the configuration file as well. Because the old configuration file is just configuration.cfg. All of that is not that. Well, I guess I should clean up this a little bit of code. How long should I keep streaming? Like, this feature took me 2.5 hours to implement. I don't have any tests in this application as well. Like, testing was just not a thing I was doing. Are you hungry? Thirsty? What do you mean? I'm not really hungry. I have tea. So I'm constantly sipping on tea. I'm neither hungry nor thirsty, per se. But what I wanna do especially for Americans, well, I'm not sure if did you watch my previous stream where I explained what I will be doing? Like, what's the point of all of this? And so on. No, I don't think so. Okay, so sounds really good. Yeah, tea is really good. I agree. That's why that's why I drink it. You can put like in a whole teapot that I brew at once. I just put in 1 teaspoon of sugar, so it has a little bit of sweetness, but very little. Like it's very subtle, and yeah, it's really good. That's the way I like it. It helps me stay focused. Oh, sorry, my microphone. Do you honey? Oh, do you put honey? Yeah. Well, if I had some there, I definitely would. I love honey, especially like, well, in well, it depends on the honey. I would say if I were to buy honey at a shop, then probably not. I'm not a big fan of it. Like it's the good honey is quite expensive, and my neighbor, when I was growing up, actually used to have bees. So if I can get honey like that from what would you call it, a farmer, who's actually, well, from a beekeeper, I guess in this case, then yeah, for sure, I would probably consume it very fast, because honey is just great and it pretty much goes with everything. Same honey from beekeepers is the best, yeah, that is true. Well, since I grew up next to a beekeeper, like I don't really like nothing else is I don't count it as honey if it's not from a beekeeper. So, you know, I have a relatively high standard for honey. I would say. Because yeah, if you go to the shop, like there's so very little stuff that's labeled as honey that I would actually consider being honey. But yeah, if I had some, yeah, I would definitely use it. Sugar is just, you know, more accessible. It is processed, yeah. It's not even that it's processed. Usually it's just artificially made. So it just looks like it has the texture and color of honey, but it doesn't really taste anything like honey. It doesn't behave like honey. It doesn't crystallize like honey would. Like it's not honey. Normal honey is, you can even taste the plants. Like if it was collected during the certain period, like for example here, when, well, there are certain trees that bloom at a certain time. So if the honey is collected during that time, like that honey is like has a particular taste, and so that's honey. That's proper honey. Let's see. This is all done. I kind of need to figure out the commit options as well, because I'm pretty sure my old happen if I try to commit. It's actually visible on stream like this. So let's see, I wanna load. Okay, say one this glitching logs. I don't care about backup. I was doing there. Main. Oh, it's in logs. See, oh, logs has its own. What is this? Is it some old iteration of this application? Open files like that willy-nilly, in case it has some of my private keys and passwords in it. File ban. Yeah, those are irrelevant. Yeah, only modified main. Actually didn't modify this at all. Oh, I actually need to commit it. Let's see. Um, Auto delete old records. Gonna worry about else too much. One thing I missed from Germany is having bread with butter and something called Schnittlauch. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Doesn't ring a bell. But yeah, honey on bread. Just if you have some nice bread, yeah, honey just goes. It just goes well with everything. I remember just eating honey with bread and tea. I think that's it's definitely tasty. Let's see. Now we actually need to deploy this into the production. I'm gonna go make honey sandwich. Okay, sounds good. I'll go take a. Oh, let's see. Be back in 5 minutes. What should I show during that time? Kinda need a thing. AFK for 2 minutes. C break. They actually spell break. Is break spelled the same way as for break as in breaking stuff? Or and break as in taking a break? Remember. Yeah, I guess those are different words. Break, interrupt. Device for slowing. Slow down. Wait. Oh, I guess I'm learning English and a pause didn't work. So break, like written like this. It's the actual break. Okay. Should be visible on stream, hopefully. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Right. So I did the change I wanted. Welcome back, yeah. Welcome back to you as well. Did you get your sandwich? Yeah. Oh. Good. Hopefully it's very tasty. When it's starting to crystallize, well, it's not a bad thing. At least I don't consider it a bad thing. Like, it's when it starts to crystallize, then it's like at the perfect consistency. That it's not runny anymore, so you can scoop it up in like huge scoops and use it like as a gradient. Yeah. Parser. Should I? Now, what should I do next? Now, that's the decision I need to make. Because all I had planned was to update this, add a feature where it automatically deletes old records. Like, that was the whole plan. Like, there are so many things I could do. I could just go nuts and start rewriting all of this. Like, some better way. Need anything else? Well, need is a strong word. It didn't even need that, but it was just more convenient. It was something I could add to showcase my style of development, I guess. Yeah, like this is not much for 3 hours of work. Yeah. Coding. I guess I need to think what I want to do for the next stream as well. Because I have a bunch of applications, like this is just one of the projects I have. Like I have a bunch of projects. Well, some of them are just like Bark is a learning application. This is just dedicated project for learning stuff. LibreScript, I have no idea what that is. Payment monitor, so this is for monitoring payments that I receive from, well, it's basically a web server that's monitoring PayPal transactions. So it's just an application that receives events from PayPal about payments that are actually done. That's how people pay for my bot. That's how my bot knows that someone paid for it. It is kind of interesting. It's done with Node.js, but it's like garbage. It's like absolute trash. Like it's just basically I made a hello world by example and just modified it the minimal amount because it doesn't really have to do much logic. So yeah, it's just basically a hello world of Node.js web server with a couple of lines of logic. That's it. So it's not really much to look at, and it's probably not the right way to do it anyways. But since it handles transactions and there are actual PayPal IDs and stuff like that stored there, I don't want to modify it on stream, and there is no much point anyways. Call to Arms bot, it's one of the projects I started, never finished. Crypto trading bot is another project I'm currently working on. Like it's 80% done, but it's not done, not working. Well, it is working kind of, but not something like you can actually use in production. Crypto monitoring bot. Oh, this is actually another application that is running on my server. It's actually pushing data into the same database. Well, on the same server. So if I go here, open the scheme, there is a crypto table, well, crypto thing, ticker. This is the one with all the data. Yeah, so this is trading information. Yeah, you talked to me about that at the start. Yeah, so, well, it's kind of done, but it's not well, it's not looking like I can't make it well, so far I haven't made it so it would be more profitable than just holding crypto. Because crypto is still growing, and now it just makes sense. It would make more sense to just buy and keep crypto for yourself, like without doing anything, without doing any trading, and just let it appreciate over time. Because now it's appreciating pretty well. Well, not at the given moment, but year over year on average. So I can't really beat that with my crypto trading bot so far, but this application, this crypto monitoring, is what actually pushes all of this data into this database. So this has all the Bitcoin transactions in Coinbase since, well, it looks like September 8th. Yeah. Well, let's see. Order by ID descending. This will select the latest. So it is, well, from now, current time. It's in UTC, not in my local time. But all of my servers run on UTC time, not local time. So yeah, it is still running. It is currently, like, if each time I will refresh it, it will have different payments, because each second multiple payments are happening, and it's monitoring. Like, the price is, well, I guess this is in US dollars and this is in euros. Did it crash that much? What? It was like 37,000 euros today. It's something else. Let's check. Oh, it's 36,000 euros at the moment. Volume. What does happen? Oh, it's in pounds. Yeah. Has product ID 3. So 2 is Bitcoin price in US dollars, 3 is in British pounds, and 1 is in euros. So yeah, 35.9. Because it's in another table, it's like 4. So it's a part of minimization, or what's the name of it? Normalization, yeah. So to make data less, well, to have less duplicate data, or minimal amount of duplicate data. So instead of having the product ID comes from products, yeah. So take this table from products, you see, like, instead of having to store a string, I just store an ID pointing to a string. Little things like that that you're, I guess, supposed to do. Not sure how much it affects the performance. That's interesting. Well, oh. You should be learning things like that in uni anyways. Like, it's basic database management. Like, that's one of the basic things you learn when you're, like, learning about databases. Because all of that, like normalization and crap like that, I went through in uni. I didn't really have to deal much with it otherwise. It's just a methodical way to design a database from given data. Right. So yeah, that application is actually now running, and this is the project, the source code of that application. It's crypto monitoring bot. Configuration bot. Oh, this is a good one. This is the bot on my Discord. So this is the source code for the bot that actually people interact with and set up new bots with. BattleBot is another one of the bots you can configure using my configuration bot. Park is a learning project. Player management for Discord. Yeah, this is another project I started, but I don't think I even did any significant amount of work with it. Like, it's just an idea. I don't even... what? First open project. Should refer to, no. Doesn't even have anything. It has one main file and yeah, so. Oh, this is, okay, this is not good. It had keys that I don't really want to expose. Oh well. Hopefully the recording is will be in low quality. On YouTube I think it should. On YouTube people wouldn't be able to see what the actual values were, because YouTube recordings are in low quality. So the only, well, so if you're watching a YouTube recording and you wanna see what I was showing, have questions, or you want to know what was actually shown on stream, on Twitch you can always delete the VOD. Yeah, I can. I probably will if it's like if those keys are actually still relevant, because it was set up for a bot that I never made. So you know, it's there. I probably have that bot set up on Discord as well, but it doesn't do anything. So it just those IDs are probably not even working, those keys. But just to be safe, I will check that. So that's another thing now I need to check on. So I guess I'll just put it down in my notebook for tomorrow. So I actually have a plan. Well, I want to structure my streams like this. I want to do a stream on this time for European side. So because now it's prime time for Europeans. And I want to do another stream tomorrow. Well, for me it will be tomorrow early morning. For you it should be late evening. So people from the US side could have a chance to join, have their input. So at least that's the format I want to go for. Well, what do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Let's see, if I will be streaming tomorrow morning, so I will be doing it until lunch. Just don't worry yourself, you know. Well, it is kind of a project I wanna, like, much like before this, I was streaming, building. Well, everything is explained. Like I made, like my previous stream has the whole explanation. Like it's pretty much has my whole life story, and extra, and it explains why what's the point of this whole project. But yeah, I shouldn't wear myself out. I've been streaming for 2 months each day, pretty much, or like at least 6 hours a day. So you know, I'm kind of used to this at this point. And I'm doing this because during that time, well, most of the time no one was watching, but sometimes people were watching, and some people even stayed and kept watching, and some people were even asking me to produce, like, to stream programming content. I'm a bit disappointed that they are not here today, but I'm sure they have a good reason why eventually they will be here. And yeah, I shouldn't wear myself out. That's why I'm considering ending my stream quite soon. Do something else, go to bed, wake up early so I can start have a like 3-4 hour stream in the morning for the American side. And we have plenty of time left for other stuff during the day that I need to do. Like, I need to check. Actually, I should check this this evening after I do the stream. Oh, I'm done with the stream. How's your sleep been doing? Well, you know, it's here or there. Like sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Like today, like I had like 6 hours of sleep at least, so I don't feel that that bad. So hopefully I'll go. Well, I went to my parents, went to the sauna today, so I think I should be. Hopefully I'm gonna sleep really well today. So I don't wanna stay up too late. So okay, I can wake up early enough to start streaming for the Americans early enough. Should I? Well, Maybe you don't. Well, I'm considering pinging people on Discord when I start streaming. Maybe then more people would show up. Because now, well, I appreciate you being here, but I honestly expected at least a couple more people to be here. I'm not sure, maybe it's just a bad day. Maybe people just have other stuff to do on Saturdays. Maybe you can make a like notification group, sort of like a React role. Yeah, I could. Or I could just ping everyone. Like, I don't really care all that much. There's 1,000 people online now in my Discord server. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's my thinking. Why not? Especially for the Americans. Americans, I think, are not really used to me being online during their prime time. Well, none of my users are actually used to me streaming content like this, or streaming in general, because I never advertise it here. Well, on my Discord at least. Right. I'll just make an announcement about the changes I made during the stream, so they would know that it's going on. When I will actually do the deployment. I will do the deployment off stream, because just copying files. Yeah, I say just ping them, see what that gets you, etc. Yeah, I could do that. Well, for Americans, I think in the morning I will do that. What time it will be actually? For its for EST, so Eastern American, so East Coast. It's gonna be quite late, so I need to start at like 7 a.m. here. Then it's 10 hours from now, so it will be midnight for East Coast. This is a little bit late though. For West Coast it will be early, like it will be late evening, but it will be like 10 p.m. If my geography is correct, not sure. I think it's 2 hours difference between East and West Coast of USA. Maybe I need to start even earlier. Well, I'll see when I can actually reasonably get up. You're central, yeah, okay. So if you're central, for you it's 13? Oh, it's 1 p.m. I imagine. If my clock is correct. Move me earlier, so if I start at 7, then I can end earlier before lunch. 1 p.m. Yeah, I imagine it's one difference. For you, it's 1 hour difference either way, so +1 for East Coast and -1 for West. Yes, stream lunch. Yeah, I need to pick a feature I want to implement tomorrow though. For the next stream, to figure that out. Kind of important. I guess I can start working on the configuration, but I started rewriting it to make it more extensible, and I think I didn't finish it. It's like it's a mess at the moment, as far as I remember. So I need to sort that out at some point. So I guess I need to actually sanitize the source code for it before I start streaming, to hide all the passwords, keys, so on. So I guess I have to do this evening. prioritize config bot. Yeah, config bot is a good candidate for being rewritten because I did it in a similar style like this, but it's way more complex. Like, this is a very trivial application. It doesn't do much. It just goes to the API, asks for kills, and just puts all the kills into the database. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. Well, it will delete all the records now as well, but you know, it's not such a big difference. The configuration bot is quite a beast, if I may say so myself. It supports multiple languages. It has a bunch of features. It lets, well, not only to claim bots, you actually initialize payment through configuration bot. Also, you can claim bots from other people that have been abandoned, or like you just have to take over. What else can you do there? Well, okay, maybe that's it. Still, in the source code, it is a lot of code, and it is a big mess because it's not really structured properly. That's why I was rewriting it, because trying to maintain that mess was just too difficult. And there are things that I want to add, like there are features that are sorely lacking in that configuration bot. Features like testing, like you can't make a test kill, like test message, make it like, it would be nice to have a function where you can test the bot's configuration in some way. So you set up a kill bot that sends you, I can actually show an example that would be appropriate. I guess if you don't really know Albion, it might be, let's see, this looks, should be good. Yeah, this is, oh yeah, so this is from the public channel. So this is what the bot actually looks like when it is working and posting kills. But the issue is people set it up and then they just have to wait for kills to show up and see if it actually works or not. That's it. Yeah, it is pretty good. Well, that's why people are using it. Well, people are even willing to pay money for it. That's why you have 1,000 people online in the server, just purely because of this bot. Just how good it used to be. Now there's a bunch of clones, but you know, neither here nor there. It's not really the point. Yeah, what was the point though? I don't remember what I was talking about. Yeah, oh yeah, it needs features like that when you set it up, so you could generate a test message. So it would just, instead of sending a kill, it might send a random kill, but with well, making it obvious that this is a test. Like, instead of having, maybe it could add an additional text or replace something on the text. Maybe it would have a huge test text, like overlaid over the image, just to indicate that this is a test, to make sure that the configuration is actually correct. Actually, it would probably make the most sense if it just retrieved the last kill that fits this probably not. That's probably a bad idea, letting people query my database like that by demand. Yeah, that might be an issue. Well, for testing purposes, something like that's a feature that's all lacking. There are other things, like there are cancel buttons in the menus that, like, my configuration bot, actually how you interact with it. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I won't. Yeah, you don't really see anything sensitive here, hopefully. So yeah, this is the bot Yeah, killbot, battlebot. If I wanna like it should have a cancel or back button. Hey, what? Oh, I entered 3. 3 is not a valid, so that's why I got back. Well, I guess that's that's one way to implement that. And then instead, if the input is not valid, just return you back to the start. What does it do if I do this? Yeah, it always just backs. Like this is like a backup option. Doesn't know what to do. Cancel. Okay, cancel is here, but where it's missing cancel is in this menu when I want to extend bots. Yeah, so from now on there is no way to go back. Like if I enter something else, what did this do? Extend all bots, select. Enter number of weeks you want to extend for your bots. Okay, let's... Yeah, so if I want to go back, I enter text, it will just ask me again. It will crash. Please enter the email address. Oh, so it just ignored this input? But 3 is... Something is messed up. Yeah, things like that. There's a bunch of things to do, I guess. Yeah, that could be done, improved on. So, but yeah, I can't really cancel it. It will just persistently ask me for an email. So don't care. We'll eat it up. Yeah, should get invoice. So it generated an invoice for that extension. I wonder what will actually be in that, because I entered this as the number of weeks. Yeah, there's something is not right. Like, it shouldn't work like this. Yeah. So I think I want to work on that bot. Yeah, that's probably a good next project. Let's see, arrange these windows. So, okay, looks good. Right. What else could I do for the next stream? Okay, first sanitize, then I need to check on those. Was there? Air management. System editor. So it has client ID, client secret, token, all of those. I need to check if those are actually true or functioning. If they are, I just will delete the VOD. Actually, I should probably do that as soon as possible. Those client ID, client secret, those seem important if those are actually correct. Because I'm pretty sure it would be possible to take over my bot. Well, at least the bot that was set up for this purpose. Hopefully this is, well, it could be just copy pasted from other bot. I don't know at this point. Check. E-secret token, what token? They are valid. Valid. Okay. Yeah, I guess the next stream will be interesting. Well, the one I will do for the American side, oh, that's probably gonna be quite embarrassing as well. Showing off the what I just remember how much of a mess that code is, and I guess that is a big part why I never finished working on it or rewriting it, because I just know how much of a mess it is. Like, this is a mess as well, but this mess is manageable. That mess is not that manageable. And it's done in such a dumb way. Bad through and through. Yeah. The next stream I will be exploring, let's say, my configuration bot. What's the state of that thing? I guess I could also work on this, rewrite this some better way. But for now it's fine. Just deploy it, stream. Yeah, but I think I'm done for today. I don't really have anything else I wanna do. And I still need to check some of the stuff before I go to bed. I need to sanitize that. Oh. But yeah, well, 3 hours, it's not too terrible, I guess, for the first stream. And I'm gonna be streaming soon again. It's gonna be interesting. This is an interesting project, I would say. And that's not bad at all. Well, you know, if you actually look at the code that was written, like, this is a very trivial piece of code. You know, delete all the records, so it just selects latest record, deletes all the records. That then it's not really 3 hours of work, but sometimes it just ends up being 3 hours of work. Right. I think unless you have a question. So if you want to ask something, you have last chance. Not sure you're gonna be on for the next stream though. Well, if you will. Nothing at the moment. Oh, okay. That is completely fine as well. So I guess I'll see you. You will be on next one. So for the American side, well, if it all goes well. What time is it? 7 AM will be in. If I manage to start at 7 AM, we'll see when I wake up. But it should be either 7 or 8, so depending on how when I wake up, it will be in 10 or 11 hours, something like that. Yeah, but otherwise I'm done. So well, appreciate you coming here, showing the support and interest, general questions, and so on. Well, okay, I'm gonna go do the deployment and check on other things and trade it for tomorrow.